I'm joined now by Dan Scandling, Senior Director at APCO Worldwide. That's a global communications consultancy firm which has a motto, making organizations thrive in an interconnected and complex world. This is a president who doesn't want to be a part of that world. He says trade wars are good, they're easy to win. Is he right?
It depends, and depends who you're talking to. You got to remember, he's playing to his base. Everything he does is aimed at his base. It's at those people that elected him. It's those people that feel disenfranchised. It's middle America. It's the moms and dads that feel like they've been left behind. And they don't understand the complexity of trade issues other than my job's been shipped overseas because it's cheaper to build things. So that's why he's going to do this. And it plays well with the base. It's interesting, though, the AFL-CIO is on board with this. So there are going to be Democrats that are going to be caught in a box as this goes forward of how they're going to play this, particularly in some of the rural parts of the country where Democrats represent them.
The base might be excited about it, but down the road a piece when they go to buy a car or a washing machine or however many items that could be impacted on this, those go up in price. They're probably not going to be crazy about it.
But the calculation is, I'm going to get the immediate win. Trump's not worried about 3 months, 4 months, or 2 years down the road when that may occur or where that impact is. He wants the immediate win, the bullying, I did this, I made this promise, I'm going to deliver for you.
Let me ask you about the math. You add this to Brexit. You look at these countries that are on the world stage, but they're looking inward, they're retreating. Give us the broad strokes. I mean, how do you see this all falling out in terms of what are we going to see?
I think you see everybody retreating back home and looking out for number one. And they're tired. They don't understand what globalization means. They get the iPhone, they get the things that are great about it, but they don't understand how the whole economy has changed and how the whole workforce has changed. And that's what they can't make that connection. I mean, in America, these manufacturing jobs are not coming back. It's just not going to happen. And that's what really is what's happened here in America. But as far as the global issue, everybody wants to look out for number one. And when Trump says that, everybody else has to fall into suit.
But the interesting thing, and you know this because of your firm, it's almost like a circulatory system in our body. Everything's interconnected now. You can't take this out. I mean, even when you look at like an iPhone, as you just pointed out, some components in China, some components here. It all ends up back in the U.S. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. You start subtracting. How do you?
I ask people all the time, do you shop at Walmart? Do you shop at Target? And the answer is yes. And I go, are you willing to pay higher prices at those? And they're like, no. And you're like, then you can't have it both ways. And that's what Americans are really struggling with. They want those jobs back. They want America to be number one, but they also want cheap products and not have to worry about increasing cost of those products. And you're right, that's what they're going to see with these tariffs. It's going to lead to an increase in products that involve steel and aluminum. And you're also seeing the backlash, particularly from Europe, saying, great, we're gonna put tariffs on Harley Davidson. We're gonna put tariffs on bourbon. We're gonna put the tariffs on things that you Americans find near and dear to you that you're sending to us.
There's some in the administration who really push back against this, and one of them talking about the NAFTA negotiations, because Canada obviously trades with the U.S. in this regard. What does it do to that?
The president takes advice from no one. He does what he wants to do. Just look at that announcement. It was going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. It happened. It wasn't going to happen. And he just kind of rolled it out. And there's no there behind it. Nobody really knows what's in there other than he said, next week we're going to impose these tariffs, and this is what the percentage is going to be.
He also, to your point, can come out and say one thing on Thursday, say something entirely different on Friday. Do you see him changing track on this at any point?
I think it'll have to see what happens in the stock market and what happens there. We've seen 2 days of, well, the markets ended mixed today, but let's see what happens next week. Let's see what also happens with Republicans. I mean, this is counterproductive to where Republicans are. And then fold this on top of that, the gun control position where he's been. He's going to have his Republicans walk away from him on 2 major issues that are near and dear to their hearts.
Well, it's always interesting here in Washington of late. Dan, thanks so much for coming in and giving us analysis. Appreciate it.